Are you looking for a way to scale your short-term rental business and buy more properties? Well, co-hosting might be the right fit for you. Welcome to the Co-Host Coach podcast with Joe Roney. This episode of the Co-Host Coach is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents. If you're looking to buy a short-term rental, then contact the STR Savvy Agent team at savvy.realty.
Welcome to another episode of the Co-Host Coach. Today, we are going to talk about your absolute worst nightmare as a co-host. And what is that? Well, bad cleaning team. And we're going to talk about what's happened to me, because I've had it, and how to fix it. So, we all want to say that, we get into, you pick up a new co-host client, whether it be the market you're currently in or a new market. What do you do about finding your cleaning team? So, the first thing you got to do, obviously, is to, reach out to local cleaners and see, about interviewing and meeting them. This is the number one reason why being a co-host and not being able to be at your property, in my opinion, makes it really hard for you to be successful. How are you going to hire a cleaning team if you've never met them face to face and looked at them eye to eye? And we all want to say there's all kinds of trustworthy people in the world. And there are really some great people. However, there are also some people that are, scammers, or, that say they do one thing and do the opposite. Or, sometimes they have all the great intentions. They just don't have the know-how, or they've never done it. So, the first step that we're going to talk about is hiring your cleaners. What do I do when I'm hiring my cleaners? And this is no matter whether it be for, my own property that I own or a property that I co-host. We meet multiple cleaners in person at the property and interview them in person. And we go over our expectations. And one of the things that my wife does, and I love her to death, we take pictures of every single nook and cranny of a house, and we create a binder. And in that binder, it shows every bedroom, how it was made when we set it. Every drawer, where the cups go, where the plates go, where the bowls go. Where do your forks and knives go? The cabinet underneath the sink. Which shows exactly how many trash bags should be left out, and, what you're doing with your dishwashing detergent and your laundry detergent sender, and all of these different things, right? We have this binder, and we put it in every single house, and it shows every cleaner that ever goes in there exactly what every room should look like. Guess what? We have a second duplicate binder that is identical in my office at home. So if I ever have an issue with a cleaner, we can look at mine compared to theirs and make sure we get it on the same page. So when we are interviewing our cleaning team, we have that binder ready, and it's ready, and we're going through it with them, and we're letting them know, this is the way we make our beds. This is the way we want our pillows. This is the way we want the throw blanket. And we make sure it's done that way every single time. If they cannot meet those expectations at that point, we let them know. If this is not something that you can do, let me know, and we'll find someone that can. And, so that's step number one. You have to meet your cleaners in person. A Zoom call, a phone call, none of that stuff works. I'm telling you, none of that stuff is going to help you be successful. It is going to bite you in the butt. You need to go in person and meet your cleaning team. It's also better just to build that relationship. This is truly anything in real estate, whether it be property management or selling real estate or, whatever it may be. It is all a relationship business. And if you can build a relationship with that cleaner, everything's going to be a lot better when the stuff hits the fan, because it's going to happen sometimes. Now, once you get through that and you hired your cleaner and you've negotiated your rate and what it's going to be like, what are the next steps? What is it that you're doing to be able to make sure that it's the right cleaning team? And my number one thing is communication. We use the Turno app, and they upload 20 to 50 pictures every single time they do a turn. And I'm not looking for just show me a picture of the living room. I want the picture of the laundry center. I want the picture of underneath the kitchen cabinet. I want the picture of their linen closet that they are supposed to keep organized. Okay. Those are the pictures that I want. Yes. Am I looking to make sure they made the bed right and they left enough, whatever it may be, toilet paper out, or am I looking at those pictures? Yeah, we look at those as well. But I'm looking at the details because the details is the part that most cleaners miss. They send you all these great pictures of what it, of the easy stuff, but then they miss the nooks and crannies, and that's when you get your guest complaints, and that's when you don't get 5-star reviews. So we have them upload those pictures. Either myself or my wife are typically looking at those, checking them, making sure they are where they need to be. It doesn't take more than 10 seconds of my day when they tell me that that's done and they upload the pictures for me to open my app, scroll through a couple pictures, and make sure everything's good. Do I look at every single picture? No. I'm not going to say I look at all 50 or 40 or 100 if they send 100. No, but I'm looking to know that they got it done. So, the title of this is what is your worst nightmare, right? So we are in March. We are in spring break right now. And we are in peak season. And this happened to me last year in March. I had hired a cleaner and she had actually cleaned for me for 6 months and done a fantastic job. I was really, really impressed with her. But once we got to peak season, it's easy to be, great, during the slow season. But what happened is my cleaner, she wanted more business. So she ended up picking up more properties. And then, during that slow season. And then when peak season came, she couldn't handle it, and we showed up. We had, a couple bad guests that didn't I mean, they didn't trash the place, but they didn't, leave it as nice as they should. And they showed up, a little later because they thought what's typically left, it takes them 2 hours or 3 hours to clean the house. So they got there at, 1 o'clock in the afternoon because they had other turns to do before ours or vice versa. And then they got there and it was more trash than they thought. And we were supposed to have a guest come in at 4 o'clock and they weren't going to have it ready. So, you know, what do you do in that situation? That is your worst nightmare. My worst nightmare is having a guest show up to something that wasn't clean and and making sure that it's up to our standard. And when that happens, how are you going to fix it and how are they going to fix it? So, if you have the right cleaning team and you're setting those expectations up front, that is the most important thing. The other thing I always ask them is what's your backup if, spring breakers come in and do, make a mess. And I say spring breakers, that could be a family with 5 kids that make a bigger mess than a spring breaker, cuz that's been my history. I've had more bad guests with families than I have with spring breakers in the 3 years that I've been in the Panama City Beach area. So, what are they going to do and how are they going to be able to fix it? Do they have help that they can call? Do they have backup that they can call? So those are some of the things that you definitely want to make sure. And especially on bigger homes. If you have a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom condo, they're probably not going to need to call backup if they get there and it's a little bit bigger of a mess. But I manage mostly or co-host mostly 4 to 5 bedroom homes that are 2 to 3,000 square feet. These are not small properties, so it's going to take them. In my biggest property, it takes 3 people 4 hours to get that house ready. So on same day turnovers, we don't they're not doing other properties, that team. They're doing that property on that day and that's it. So, that's also why it's a $525 cleaning fee because it's a lot of people that have to come in to get that done. But when you're talking about how are you managing your cleaners and making sure that you're holding them accountable and you don't live in the market as most of us as co-hosts don't live in the market. And even if you did live in the market, and I use this to anyone that I'm talking to, if you're talking to someone and they say, "Well, I don't know if I want you to manage the property because you don't live in the market." My question is always, has your property manager or the owner of that property management company, have they ever been to your property? Are they gonna be the ones that go to your property if there's a problem? No. No. The owner of the Vacasas of the world are not going to a property, right? Their property manager that's in charge of their property is probably not going to their property. They're calling their maintenance team or their cleaning team or their handyman, whatever it may be. Those are the same people that are going to the property. So, you know, you, no matter where you live, are not going to be able to be at your property all the time, but it's important that you know what your cleaning team is doing. The other part of this is, who do you have that's not your cleaner that's checking on your property? So if you're not able to be at your property every 2 to 4 weeks or, once a month, you've got to have a second set of eyes for you, especially during the busy season, because that second set of eyes is going to be able to go into your property and do, check out the cleaning, maybe do some maintenance. My handyman is absolutely fantastic. And I seriously am so grateful for them, but they go into each one of my properties and they're changing air filters and they're checking on, changing air filters, checking on door locks, making sure the batteries are good, tightening locks up if they're loose. There's a number of different things, making sure the putt area has golf balls and, the pool's been cleaned and the skimmer is, there's nothing clogged in the skimmer. All those little things make a difference. But that person's also looking at the cleanliness. What's going on in this house and is it clean? So, having those people in your corner are going to make a huge difference. So, worst nightmare, in my opinion, is having a house not clean for a guest. I've had the phone calls at 8 o'clock at night that somebody got to a house and it wasn't as clean as they wanted. I've had the phone calls of, somebody the next morning when I send out my message to say, well, it's okay, but there's some other issues. I just recently, and I had a guest that was pretty picky and was sending me pictures of basic stuff, some nicks on the walls, which I'm like, yeah, it's a vacation rental. And we just got done painting 4 feet down. At most of our properties, this is one of the last ones we still got to get to. There was still a couple nicks in the walls. Not a big deal. They still gave us a five-star review. They wanted to let me know and show me, what, um, you know, show me exactly what was wrong with the house so they didn't get in trouble later. And I understand that, but they shouldn't have to, right? And I have 3 absolutely amazing cleaning companies that work for me across my, 9 properties. I love every single one of them, and they are all fantastic, but that doesn't mean they're perfect. Even the great cleaning companies are gonna have bad days. They're gonna make mistakes. They're occasionally gonna cut a corner when they're feeling a little bit rushed because they have too much in a day. So you want to do everything you can to prevent that so you can have a successful busy season. We are in early March, early to mid March right now when this is coming out. So you have got to have this ironed out and ready to go because if you don't and you get that phone call during spring break or the first week of June and you have to fire a cleaner, that's not easy. So rewind March last year, I had to fire a cleaner. And she was cleaning 2 of my properties. Both of them were 4 bedroom, 4 bath, and she was the one doing fantastic for 6 months. Got hired, got too many properties, got overwhelmed, had back to back to back. We're talking 3 straight back to back properties that she was not meeting the expectations on, I'm a, strike 1, shame on you. Strike 2, shame on me. Strike 3, you're out. So, I like to give opportunities. Sometimes I've given too many opportunities. But it was time to make a change. And, my wife and I, on our spring break with our daughter, had to take a half a day to a day to interview new cleaning company and find the right team and get them on board. And I can honestly say that of the people that came in there, the cleaning company that we hired, it was not the company that I expected, but they have exceeded every expectation. We've been together for a year now, and they're taking care of 3 of our properties, and they're fantastic. I love them to death. They do so amazing. And the communication's great, and, they're just we finally found the right group. We thought we had it, and we did a really good job vetting, and we thought we had it, and it still didn't work at that time. So just because you think you have the best cleaning company right now does not mean that they're going to be able to meet those expectations come busy season. So again, back to my point, you cannot be a co-host and not be able to go to your property if needed. That doesn't mean you have to be flying out there all the time if you don't live close. It doesn't mean you got to be, there monthly. We do quarterly visits, a minimum once a quarter to walk through every single property, take inventory, check everything, the whole works. That's kind of our, in our contract that we're going to be there a minimum once every 3 months. I'm probably there more. In some properties, I'm there, every month. But we definitely want to be in there every 3 months and take a look, see what's going on. The last thing that I will leave you with is every single time I go to my market, my cleaner doesn't know. I have never told my cleaner ahead of time that I am coming to the market because I don't want them to do extra cleaning for me. I want them to make sure that they clean it well for every guest. On the flip side, I do let my cleaning team know if the owner is coming and they're staying in their own property because that's just one of those things that you got to make sure you do. So make sure you tell your cleaning team if the owner is coming to stay in their property. But for me, I don't want them to know. I want to show up unannounced to see what they're doing and make sure they're hitting my expectations. No matter if I've been in business with them for 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, doesn't matter. I need to continue to follow up on them and make sure they're doing their job. So that's it for today. Cleaning team is by far such a crucial part of this business, and make sure you have yours ready to go for the peak season, which is right around the corner. Thanks for watching.